Let's get down to business here, shall we? Padded Room Radio is back on the air, you maniacs. My name is Darian, and I am back for another week of bullshit coming for you. It's the Padded Room Podcasting Hour. This is the new theme song right here. What's going on, everybody? It's a solo show. I feel like I am way too loud. I'm dealing with yet another new setup here. So, as you may know, I was kicked out of what was the old recording studio because apparently my son needs his own bedroom. Blah, 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 blah. Whatever, dude. So now I'm recording out of what should be a formal dining room, but we have kind of taken it over and made it into a new part-time recording studio. And by that I mean on Tuesday nights from the hours of 6 to about 8:30, it's a recording studio. The rest of the time, it's more of a playroom situation. But regardless, I got a new desk here. I don't have to do the show standing up anymore. That's pretty cool. I think I can fit most of Dusty here. I don't know if you guys knew this, but Dusty's a big guy. And when he comes back, I think I can get maybe 80% of him like at least comfortable enough to do some of the show, is what I'm hoping for. No promises. He's on vacation right now. Happy 4th of July, everybody. By the way, that's right around the corner. You got any big plans? I'm going to try and stay at my house and get drunk here and maybe barbecue some ribs. That's what I'd like to do. And if possible, I'd like to do it by myself or just with my family. Unfortunately, here at Padded Room 1, people just let themselves in. And 35 people just hanging around my house. Great. Didn't ask for any of this. Didn't invite any of these motherfuckers either. But here they are all of a sudden. I'm hoping for a nice, quiet barbecue. Maybe some cocktails. Splash around in the pool a little bit. I gotta clean that fucking thing out. It's disgusting. That's a horror movie in itself. Disgusting backyard pool, right? I already like it better than Night Swim. I can tell you that right now. All right, enough about me. Happy 4th of July, everybody. We got a regular horror show to get into here, you motherfuckers. I got horror news. I got listener mail. I got all kinds of fun things going on. Hopefully Dusty will be back next week. As far as I know, that's the plan as of right now. But it's really up to his daughter and his daughter's volleyball coach. That's who really makes the rules around the Dusty Red Queen house, is the daughter's volleyball coach. All right, enough about that. Hopefully we get him back. If not, that's cool. I'll be here anyway. Horror news then, yeah?
Horror news.
Yes, sir. We got things happening here today, actually. Well, yeah. I mean, I guess some of this is today. Oh, excuse me. Fright Rags is releasing a line of Jaws 50th anniversary apparel and pint glasses. Now, I think as horror fans, we are entitled to at least one or two horror movie shirts, right? I mean, not for free. You still gotta buy them. But at what point does I think most of us have a Jaws shirt. I know I do. Do I need a Jaws 50th anniversary shirt? Probably not. And more to the point, I haven't looked at them yet, but what is the big difference between the Jaws shirt that you already have and the 50th anniversary Jaws shirt. One of them says 50th anniversary. I get that. I don't know about you, but I'm not 50 years old yet, so it's not like I could have an original Jaws t-shirt from when the movie came out. So I don't know. I don't know why I need the 50th anniversary edition one when I already have one. That's just me. What else we got here? This is something interesting. I Know What You Did Last Summer is teaming with Red Lobster for a Red Lobster promotional meal. What the... First of all, I could have swore I heard that all the Red Lobsters were closing. Like 2 or 3 years ago. Am I making this up? Is this complete horse shit? Mandela effect, dude. You know? Maybe I'm the only one that did hear that. I don't know. So apparently they're alive and well, and they're teaming up for a goddamn... What are we doing? The lobster's going to come in with like a... The guy in the fisherman get up, he's going to bring you the Red Lobster? Is that what's happening? I don't know. How much? It's not like it's McDonald's where you can get like a promotional toy. It's Red Lobster, you know? So what are we doing? I don't know. I'm interested though, and I be honest with you, I do like Red Lobster from time to time. They got those cheese biscuit things that they give you before the meal gets there. Those are amazing. I tried to make them myself at home once. That didn't work out. Shocking. Yeah, I know. Real big surprise there, D-Man. Anyway, I'm interested in that. A24's Bring Her Back is now available on VOD. If you don't mind paying $20 to rent a movie in your living room, then you can check that out. I don't know, man. I don't know about this VOD stuff, be honest with you. I feel like we're paying a lot more to rent movies than we used to when we used to just go down to Blockbuster. So it's cool because you don't actually have to go to Blockbuster, but that was kind of a cool thing, right? When we were kids, you don't have to, and then you don't have to make the return trip to take them back, but that was always a good way to get out of doing stuff. You know what I mean? Oh, you want me to go to your party? Oh, I gotta return some movies. Sorry. I don't know, man. I feel like $20 is a lot to rent a movie. Most Blu-rays these days, if you don't mind waiting a couple of months after they come out, you can pick them up off Amazon for like $16, to $18, and then you got a physical copy there whenever you want to watch it, and you don't have to fuck around with the VOD stuff, putting your credit card in and all that shit. Although you will have to do that with Amazon regardless, so there's that. I heard good things about Bring Her Back. It's A24, of course, so prepare to not understand a fucking thing about the plot or anything else. Here's something I don't know. Man, I don't know how I feel about this jam here. It's the new Running Man movie. Trailers are out. Oh, I don't know here, fellas. I don't know about this one. That's probably my biggest guilty pleasure movie, is the original Arnold Schwarzenegger Running Man, right? It's so stupid. But it's good, It's stupid in a good way. I saw the trailers for this new one. It looks like they very much wanted to capture the grandiose spirit of it. There's obviously no Richard Dawson here to host the Running Man. I think he's been dead for like 50 years. I don't know who that other guy is. But I feel like you kind of need a legit game show host. That was the beauty of Richard Dawson. You know what I'm saying? But it's got the blood sport feel to it. From what I gathered, there were some gladiators. I don't know if they're going to be called gladiators. I don't know if they're going to be as cool as the old ones. Who's your favorite gladiator out of the Running Man? That's a tough one. What was his name? Captain Freedom? Who knew he couldn't kill Ben Richards, so they had to digitally CGI that shit in. Sub-Zero, Fireball, Dynamo, who was a little weird. Feel like I'm missing one. But did I say Buzzsaw, Fireball, Sub-Zero, Captain Freedom fucking guy? I don't know, man. But that was part of the best part of the original Running Man, is that you had these gimmicky gladiators, And I never understood Sub-Zero except that he kills you with hockey. And he's not even Canadian. He's like a big Asian guy. You would think they would get a Canadian dude in there to be Sub-Zero. I don't know. Whatever, man. I don't know. I don't know about that. I am definitely going to have to check this out. But I feel like I'm setting myself up for heartbreak, really. All right. It's out there, and I will say the trailers look interesting, so there's that. Lastly, here's some more bullshit. Minnie Mouse is getting her own horror movie, of course. Minnie's Midnight Massacre. Yes, sir, and it is going straight to public domain. So possibly as early as a week from today. You can find that on any of your public domain. Probably YouTube is the easiest place to find it if you give a shit. And I don't think... This is not part of the Pooniverse, by the way. Did I mention that? This is a standalone situation with Minnie Mouse killing people. Did you watch Mousetrap? That has nothing to fucking do with Mickey Mouse at all, other than the fact that the killer is wearing a Mickey Mouse mask and somehow has Disney powers of teleportation. That's at least in the Pooniverse, they're trying to, incorporate the original stories. Mousetrap was bullshit. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, I think this Minnie Mouse thing is going to be bullshit as well. So, if you're feeling adventurous and you need yourself some Disney public domain horror, there you go. Minnie's Midnight Massacre coming at your face. All right, that's all I got on horror news. Let's check the old voicemails here, shall we?
Listener mail.
Yeah, buddy, we got ourselves some voicemails coming at us today. Let's see who's up first here. Coming in hot all the way from beautiful Southern California, our main man, Mr. Tom Hardy, has arrived. Hey-yo!
Hey-yo! Patty Rowe has my favorite DJ.
Hey, what's up, big guy?
Hope everyone is doing well. Hey, for the educating department.
Come on now.
Vaccine, yeah?
Yeah, you got
Tell
it.
me I'm right.
That's a
I haven't
layup.
seen the flick, but it sounds a lot like the plot of the flick.
You're exactly right.
I don't know, man. I'm curious about you guys' thoughts of it. Saul X, I like that. Thought
Yeah.
Pearl was okay, kind of
It's different.
slow.
It's a different movie.
But kind of slower and a little longer. And
Yeah.
stuff. But, yeah. Anyway, that's what it sounds like. What do we got?
Well, you got it.
No meatloaf for the week.
I got one for you this
we got
week, though.
the educating department.
Okay.
Correction.
What are you looking at?
And I got to catch two flicks. I got to catch the first part of Beazle, the flick they're talking about.
Huh?
Didn't get to see the whole thing. Thought it was pretty good. I was about halfway, I think, into
Beazle.
the second storyline.
Yeah, buddy.
So, I don't know. It was looking all right.
It was
looking fun.
Well, yeah.
But I did get to catch two other flicks all the way through.
Okay.
And, sometimes I got to admit I choose a flick based on how long it is.
That's fine.
This thing's 85 minutes, man. I can fucking watch that.
Okay.
And two of them were based on that. And the other factors that kind of came into play, I don't know if you've seen this, but like when you go over the flick, like with the thumbnail of it, you're on Amazon or whatever, and it kind of starts to play a trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for both of these, they were shorter films, and like the first screen was or the first shot, before it started getting into the trailer, it was like all these awards, I don't know, fucking Sundance Asshole Award.
Yeah, that kind
I don't know what they were, but it was like,
you can't trust those things, man.
Original dipshit play or whatever.
Yeah.
And both of these had that, and I'm starting to think that might be a warning.
Okay, that's what I'm saying, dude.
One of them was called He Never Left.
Okay.
And this one here was actually okay.
All right.
It was looking to be a slasher.
All right.
And I was like, oh, this is kind of an interesting, different kind of setup for it.
Sure.
Than a regular slasher. And then it just kind of went into this weird direction where the only thing I can say about it is it seemed to want to be everything to everybody.
Oh,
so,
yuck.
Yes, it was a slasher, but it was also a supernatural, and it's also a psychological.
Oh, good
I was
Lord.
like, you know what? Now it's nothing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I feel like there was a good flick there, and it just kind of went too far.
Okay. I get that. GP'd. God damn it. What are we talking about here? Well, Beazle. We'll get into that in immersion therapy. That's that was a good one. Well, we'll get more into that. Maxine. A lot of people disappointed by Maxine, and I think it has to do with a lot of people disappointed in Pearl too. But if you're coming off of X and then you go Pearl, you're expecting, people to get their heads blown off with shotguns and eaten by giant alligators. That's there, but it's much more of psychosis, I would say. And then you get to Maxine, and now we're almost dipping our toes into true crime because we're getting into. I don't want to give too much away because there's a whole lot going on there. But they are, despite being a prequel and a sequel to one movie, they're very much different. And while we do have some continuity with characters, completely different movies all the way around. I don't know if you've seen Maxine yet, there, Mr. Tom Hardy, but I would say if you made it through, I would say I liked it better than Pearl. That's just me though. All right, he called back. G motherfucking peed.
G motherfucking.
Oh hell yeah.
Hell yeah. And I thought for sure I was going to get through. I really didn't have that much shit
Not
to talk
a
about,
chance.
but I guess I fucking droned on. Anyway, I got to catch this other
I like it
flick
when he drones
called
on.
My First Horror Film.
Okay.
And same thing, kind of picked based on, hey, it's a shorter flick.
Uh-huh.
Looks like it's going to be a found footage. And initially, when you cross over on that thumbnail, it showed a bunch of, independent film festival fucking things that it had won.
Okay.
It's a fucking piece of shit.
Oh, no.
This is a fucking waste of a movie.
Yeah.
And it's not even about the subject matter, which fucking is stupid. There's not a movie going on.
Okay.
It's like, it creates these rules, and then it breaks all their own rules, but not in a clever, meta kind of a way.
All right.
Kind of in a, we're not going to do that anymore kind of way.
Yeah.
If fucking, you like Jordan Peele flicks, but feel like there's not enough blatant, you can't.
Social commentary?
The moral of the story isn't fucking blatant. Hey, how about this? If you like Malcolm X, but you feel that he's a little too subtle for you, and you're looking for something a little more on the nose,
this
is your flick, man.
It is not mine.
Somebody watch this thing. Tell me why
I'm not
going
to do it, Tom Hardy. Absolutely no.
Didn't care for it. Didn't think it said anything. Didn't think it fucking did anything. It was really a waste of fucking time. I got to do better. Start picking flicks not based on how long they are or if it's more some fucking independent award.
No.
I'm putting this one on me.
Okay.
Anyway, hope all is well. Love you like family. Bye now.
Love you too, Tom Hardy. Thanks for calling in, amigo. Man, so here's a rule of thumb that I like to stick to. I don't mind, a silly horror movie. I don't mind a low-budget horror movie. I don't mind I guess, for lack of a better term, heavy-handed horror movie. There's a lot of social positioning going on out there. A lot of not so subtle messaging. Is that about various privileges and who gets to do what and how life isn't fair and things like that. There's a lot of that, and for some goddamn reason, the horror community has chosen to embrace this, by and large. I, on the other hand, have not. Now, if you want to get some kind of message across, the best way to do it, especially if it's something that I may or may not agree with, something that may be a little polarizing, the best way to do it is as subtly as possible. Now, I have seen Dawn of the Dead probably at least 500 times. I'm talking about the original. Probably at least 500 times in my lifetime. I could probably recite it to you if you really wanted me to. And at no point, up until I saw a documentary about it at some point in my early 20s, did I ever think it was some kind of a thing about consumerism. No, I thought it was a kick-ass movie about zombies and survivors holding up in a shopping mall. Same thing with Day of the Dead. I never thought about the military-industrial complex. The Thing. I did not even, never even crossed my mind that had to do with our healthcare system. Or whatever the fuck John Carpenter was trying to say. I think it had something to do with healthcare. Or Reaganomics, if I'm not mistaken. Now, you want to get your message across to me? Sure, I'm willing to listen, but don't slap me in the face with it. And for fuck's sake, stop using my favorite tropes, zombies, slashers, cannibals, werewolves, to try to get your opinions into my head. Okay? I hate that shit. It pisses me off. You know who the worst is at that, by the way? Joe Dante. He wasn't always that way, but watch some of his recent movies. And if you really want to get a double fisting of his political beliefs, watch his Masters of Horror episode. I'm not going to piss you off with the content, but I will say it is a full-on colonic of Joe Dante and his political leanings. We'll just put it that way. All right? Right on, Tom Hardy. I'm with you on that, buddy. And the other rule I have, and this I think could pertain to your situation, look at the title of the movie. If you find it to be crass or insulting or adolescent, just keep moving. I got bit by Don't Fuck in the Woods. I thought to myself, well, they're not very subtle, but I will give it a shot. Dude, that is a bad movie. And you could here's what happened. I can tell you right now how that movie was made. Some horror fan, probably in the Midwest from the looks of it, got himself a couple of stripper friends and a very cheap camera and said, hey, let's go make a horror movie in the woods. Thus we have Don't Fuck in the Woods. Plenty of TNA, not the best TNA. A really tired plot line, the worst acting you've seen in a very long time, and just a fucking waste of your time is what it is. Don't even. So now, when I see a movie called My First Horror Movie, nah. I don't want to see your first horror movie. You know what? I don't. I don't want to see it. You're basically telling me up front that it's going to be bad, so you and I will shake hands, agree that it's going to be bad without wasting my time, and I will go and watch whatever Joe Bob is showing tonight instead of My First Horror Movie. All right, coming off my soapbox, let's get back to our voicemails. Here comes our main man in Alabama. Alan is in the house.
How's it going?
What's going on?
Everybody's doing good. Let's see. Mr. Darian, I do believe you're X.
You're close.
You talked about the trilogy. My favorite in that one is Maxine.
Okay, I'm actually Max. I'm going to give you that one.
Sleep watching Pearl. And honestly, the reason I like Maxine so much is Halsey dies in it. I can't stand that nasally bitch.
I get you. I get
anyway, Meat Hook. No, there ain't no Meat Hook.
No Meat Hook.
Let's see. Mr. Darian. I answered that. Tired. Anyway, what I've been looking at, I got to watch finally Black Cat from 1934 with Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi.
Yes, sir.
I really liked it, and it was weird seeing Bela play, I guess, the good guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I got. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Beautiful. Thanks for calling in, Alan. I really miss the old. I love going back to the classics. You know what I mean? They're short. There's not a lot of plot because back then movies were made basically to showcase talent, not so much writing or directing abilities. I mean, if you were lucky enough to sit down in front of a good one, you would get to see like a Todd Fry and those guys make an actual legit frightening movie, or at least for the time. But back then, you weren't really selling your movie or the plot or the special effects. You were just selling Bela Lugosi. So you would literally put him in front of the camera and just kind of you do Bella, baby. Roll. And what do you want to be? A secret agent? Weird Asian mystic dude? I don't know. You just be Bella, because you're going to make us some money. And that's kind of how it went down. But they're quick, and a lot of acting in those movies. Not a lot of anything else. So there's that. Right on. That's all we got on the listener mail. Thank you very much, Tom Hardy and Alan, for calling in. You guys rock. You knew that already. I guess it's time for me to kick off Larry Fessenden month here in the padded room, huh? Here comes a movie.
Is that it, Charlie? You out of here?
No, I just needed a spot for the month. Earl, I'm heading over. I gotta make a couple quick stops, and then I'll be there.
Tell me what's on your mind.
I wanted to ask if you'd take a look at some of these papers I found in my dad's estate about Jack Hammond.
The guy behind the Hilltop Resort project?
He is such a corrupting force in this town. I want to see him behind bars.
If you want to delve deeper, I can show you the way.
No, I'll be gone. Sharon?
What's up?
Sorry I'm late. I'm leaving, for good. I wanted to say goodbye.
Where are you gonna go?
Tell me, how did it all come to this?
I heard this noise outside the studio. I woke up in the woods, this big gash on my neck. Then I saw it, this full moon. I was separating from myself. That's when I realized I wasn't me anymore. It's been 3 months since that night, and every full moon since, on the night before and the night after. Total blackout.
What's all the excitement? They found another body up in Broward Woods last night.
Everyone needs to go home. There's something out there on the loose and dangerous.
What'd you see that night?
I saw a monster.
You seem a little wounded. What's really going on with you?
I can't say.
Stuart?
You're really a werewolf.
I'd rather be dead. Charlie! Charlie! Stay with me, man!
I can't wait to see your face. You realize what's happening.
Yes, sir. That's Blackout from 2023. Got 5.2 stars on IMDb. Written and directed by the Larry Fessenden. Stars Alex Hurt, Addison Timlin, and Motel Jen Foster. Motel, huh? Motel. Your name is Motel. He's clearly an African American, and his name is Motel. Maybe he pronounces it different? Motel. I don't know how else you could possibly pronounce that, but it's literally Motell, Motel. Strange. That's a stage name, I hope. I don't know. Okay, anyway. Oh, man. This is, Glass Eye Picks, written and directed by Larry Fessenden. Now, well, let's. This is not. Putting this as gently as I can. This is not my favorite movie. It is. This, I think, is a prime example of how your protagonist acting, the actor that plays your protagonist, can kill an entire movie. I'll get into that as we go. All right. We start off in a sleepy, I'm going to say Northern California town. We just refer to it as Talbot Falls. You see where we're going with this? Talbot Falls. So it's a werewolf movie is what I'm telling you. And Larry's trying to be cheeky with it. Talbot. Lawrence Talbot. Very nice. And we're going to start off with two young star-crossed lovers making their way across a forest meadow, and they've clearly had a couple of cocktails and agree to have sex with each other in the middle of this this forest clearing. So they get down and they get their clothes off, and I believe they do achieve coitus, but at that point we cut to werewolf cam, and a lot of snarling and growling, and then our werewolf sneaks up on these two and slashes the guy across the face and neck and kills him, and off goes running our young maiden, who's actually pretty hot, and you get to see her boobs, and we go chasing her down and kill her too. From there, we cut to our opening credits. After that, we're 2 kills in, and we already got to see some boobs. There's some good news, and they were nice ones too, so we got that going for us. At this point in the film, I'm pretty optimistic. We're about 3.5 minutes in so far, so I'm like, okay, we got a werewolf and we got naked chicks. We already got 2 bodies. I'm with you so far. Then we're going to cut to, I guess, the next day, and who we have to assume is our werewolf is waking up, and he's clearly an alcoholic. His name is Charlie, and he's played by Alex Hurt. Now, I get it. Assuming that Larry wanted to keep this movie in the vein of the original Wolfman, you wanted your protagonist to be the tortured soul who is trying to cope with this lycanthropy. Okay, I'm with you. Problem is, Alex Hurt plays him as a bit of a bitch. Really, he just broods around town. He just doesn't come off as likable in the least bit. Like, even going back to the original Lawrence Talbot, Lon Chaney Jr., even after he got bit, he was still a friendly guy. He went around the village and he was trying to figure out how to shake the werewolf curse, and he was happy. He would smile, he would talk to you. This guy's just a prick, is what he is. And he's just walking around, and we're getting a lot of exculpatory dialogue, and it's that lazy shit that I hate. Hey, man, you've been living in this town for 14 years, and you worked for me, and then I fired you. No, you didn't fire me. I quit because I found out you and your company are corrupt, and you're fucking up the environment. And okay, really? Come on, Larry. Larry, you wrote this. You're better than this. All right. Anyway. That's what we're getting into, and I'm jumping ahead of myself here. Our guy Charlie is an alcoholic, and he's a painter, so he's also a tortured artist. And apparently, he's just been doing odd jobs around town to make ends meet. He's been living in a motel for the last month, and we're of the impression that he's getting ready to leave this place for good tonight. So he's going to drive. He gets up and he checks out of the motel and he rounds up all of his paintings and he gets into his piece of shit Volvo, and he's like driving. His goal is to leave tonight. So he's going to drive around today and tie up a bunch of loose ends and then get the fuck out of there. That's his plan. Okay? So his first stop on the goodbye tour is the local hardware store, where the owner and apparently the town rich guy is there. Guy by the name of Jack Hammond. Now, the guy that plays Jack Hammond, we will all recognize immediately. He is an actor by the name of... just hold the hell on. I'm pulling it up right now. It's a guy by the name of... God damn it. Here it comes. It's a dude. You're probably not going to recognize the name, but you will definitely recognize his face if you ever take the time to watch this. Oh, shit. Where'd you go? I'm going to have to fucking pause this while I figure it out. Marshall Bell is the name of the actor. And that name probably doesn't ring any bells, but as soon as you see this dude's face, you're going to be like, that is the gay BDSM child molesting gym teacher from Nightmare on Elm Street 2. He's been in a lot of movies, very recognizable guy. He's like the town rich guy. And the backstory we're going to get right here through some very direct and blunt dialogue is that Jack Hammond is building a resort somewhere very close to this little town, and it's going to make a lot of money and give a lot of people jobs, but it's going to fuck up or it is already fucking up the environment because apparently they've already started construction, and Charlie is going to be the crusading voice of not fucking up the environment and making sure that this doesn't happen. And we don't need any jobs in this town because we have trees. So we will be poor in the trees. And, so there's that. So that's basically it. And, of course, we have the forlorn love story of Charlie at one point being romantically intertwined, I guess, for lack of a better term, with Jack Hammond's daughter, Sharon. And Jack is like, well, I'm glad at least Sharon decided to leave you, you fucking broke bitch. And Charlie's like, oh, wow, you know what, just wow. And so there you have it, okay? There's your whole backstory explained to us in the course of this conversation, which never happens in real life. God, do I hate this, man. And I know I've seen many Larry Fessenden movies. He's much better than this normally. He probably just shit this script out, or somebody else got involved and fucked up his work. I like to think, anyway. So there you have it. He's like, you know what? I just wanted to stop by and tell you to fuck off. And we also find out that Charlie's dad used to be Jack's attorney before he died. So Charlie has a bunch of his dad's papers. He's like, I got a bunch of my dad's papers in that car. I'm going to make sure they go to the authorities. And Jack's like, oh yeah, you go right ahead there, fuckface, and keep away from my daughter. And that pretty much concludes that whole conversation. The whole point of that was to bring us up to speed as the viewers. That's what I like to call lazy writing. You see, we could have probably, if they had put a little more thought into that, and not hit us over the head with that dipshit dialogue, we could have figured out most of that on our own. All right? Or put a little more thought into this, into your whole plot line here. All right, anyway, I digress. So from there, Charlie's like, you know what? Fuck you! And he gets back in his piece of shit Volvo and drives off through the woods. He checks his voicemail as he's driving away, and he has a voicemail message from a very sultry lady. And she's like, you've been dodging me, and Charlie, you've been a naughty boy. You said you were going to paint my shed. So he's like, shit, okay. So he drives up and he finds this lady's shed, and out walks Barbara Crampton. Barbara Crampton is in this movie. All right, very cool. She comes out, she's like, you going to paint my shed today? And he's like, actually, I'm gonna get some guys to paint it because I'm leaving town instead. And this is where we find out that Barbara Crampton is playing a lawyer. She's an attorney named Katie. He's like, hey, Katie, let me give you this box of my dad's old papers. Maybe there's some way we can fuck Jack Hammond together. And she's like, oh, these are a lot of papers. I don't know. It's going to take me a while to go through them. And then she just starts viciously making out with Charlie. Charlie's like, oh no. And he like pushes her away. I'm too brooding. I'm a tortured soul. I can't be making out with chicks right now. I don't know how old Barbara Crampton is, but I'm going to tell you right now, dude, and my wife is in the other room. I would bang the fuck out of Barbara Crampton tonight. And it's not just because she's Barbara Crampton, it's because she's still hot. All right, anyway. Because Charlie's a prick and he doesn't really, I don't know what his deal is. He doesn't want to do that, so he leaves the big box of papers with Katie, and then he hops back in the car, and he's off to his next stop, which is to say his big goodbye to Jack Hammond's daughter, Sharon. Sharon works at what appears to be some kind of a nursery. So he rolls up in there, and he's like, hey, there's a bunch of Hispanic guys there that work there. And he's like, hey, amigos. And they're like, oh, Charlie, we love you. He's like, hey, where's Sharon? Sharon's over there. So he goes over there, and see, now, I get it. This is supposed to be a serious movie, right? I feel like there's some environmental undertones here, and we might be getting some kind of messaging from Larry Fessenden on this. I get that. I'm cool with that. The problem is that Charlie, in my opinion, is completely unlikable, and Sharon is completely, I guess the word is frumpy, for lack of a better term. You know what I mean? I mean, she's an attractive young lady. The actress is, anyway. But she rolls out wearing a pair of coveralls, and the conversation they have, which is supposed to be the big grand goodbye. Oh, I still love you. Oh, I'm going to miss you so much. Oh, come back. Oh, don't go. Oh, that's... They just kind of stare at each other and, well, I'm leaving. Okay, Charlie, just go. Okay. I gotta go. There's deliveries coming in. Well, okay, so this is the big so long. Yeah, I'm seeing somebody. This goes on for like 5 minutes. And I don't know if it's supposed to elicit some kind of an emotional reaction from the viewer, but it doesn't. It just feels like two people that, number one, barely know each other, saying, it's almost like he just gave his 2 weeks' notice. Not that they are these completely in love, star-crossed young people that have to say a tragic goodbye. It's just, okay, just go, Charlie. Well, so long then. See you later. Oh, get the fuck out of here, man. See, now this is where I feel like, this is a prime example of what I'm talking about. With the right actor, by the way, not Alex Hurt, this scene could have had some impact. And probably a little more effort from the young lady playing Sharon. I believe it was Addison Timlin. They look like they could not give a fuck less about each other. You know what I mean? And in that case, drop off the paintings. Hey, see you later, Sharon. Get the fuck back in your car and take off. I don't know. That's just me. All right, so moving right along. From there, Charlie's like, oh, okay, that's my last stop. Now, this is where things get particularly stupid, okay? The whole time while Charlie's making these last stop rounds around the town to say goodbye to people and, tell them to hey, I'm taking off tonight, you probably never see me again. Okay, he's making phone calls to his friend, guy by the name of Earl, and he's like, Earl, I'm on my way, buddy, I just gotta make a few stops and then bada bing, bada boom, hey, here we go. And I'm thinking to myself, he's got a trunk full of paintings. Maybe Earl owns an art gallery or something like that, or there's some kind of big obligation that he has to this Earl character. No, not really at all. Not well, we'll get more into that in a minute, but god damn it, man. Okay, so at one of the stops that he makes, somebody mentions a newspaper article about more dead bodies piling up, and the newspapers say that their number one suspect is a Hispanic laborer in town by the name of Miguel. Now, Charlie knows that Miguel is not the killer. We're not supposed to know, but we do know that Miguel is not the killer, because clearly Charlie is our werewolf, right? Again, we could do better. All right. His next stop is to go pay Miguel a visit, because apparently him and Miguel are somewhat close. So Miguel and his family live in a trailer park on the outskirts of town, and where there's a bunch of Miguel's homeboys, like a bunch of other Hispanic laborers. And he goes and he kind of hangs out with Miguel. We find out that the reason Miguel is being considered a suspect is because he actually witnessed the murder of the young horny couple. So Charlie's there, and they're having a beer on the porch, and he's like, hey, man, I know you didn't kill that horny couple. But you saw it, man. What do you think you saw? And Miguel says, and I quote, hombre lobo, which is a little on the nose, right? Wolfman, that's what that means. It means wolfman. God damn it. Okay, yeah, all right, so come on, Larry. You're killing me with this. There's no way. All right. You know what? Maybe I'm overestimating Larry as a writer. Maybe he's more of a director, more of an actor. We're gonna cover the whole scope here in Larry Fessenden month. But this is getting a little silly. But he has a beer with Miguel. Pretty soon he's like, "All right, Miguel, I got to get the fuck out. I got to go see Earl before I take off." He gets back in his car and takes off. He stops at a liquor store and gets a bottle of booze. I should also mention that Charlie's an alcoholic. He's slamming booze left and right. Now, before he leaves the liquor store, though, he looks up and he sees the full moon kind of waxing and waning in the sky. So, okay. It's stupid. All right, number one, I don't know how far away Earl lives, but when Charlie leaves the gas station or the liquor store, The sun is still up. It's still daytime. Well, it looks like the sun may be on the verge of like cresting and setting, but it's still daytime. And but Charlie does notice the full moon, but he gets in the car and starts driving. Now we have to assume, we're about to come to the big realization that Charlie is in fact our werewolf, because as he's driving, he changes into the werewolf behind the wheel of a car. Now, as we get more into our story, we'll find out how Charlie became a werewolf and what's going on there with all that shit. The point that I'm making right here, ladies and gentlemen, is that Charlie knows he's a werewolf. He sees the full moon in the sky as he leaves the liquor store, yet he decides to drive while drinking, obviously, anyway, to try to get to Earl's house. Now, clearly, Charlie here is not known for making the best decisions, but this is particularly stupid. And this does not fall in line at all with his character, because the thing is, he's the Lawrence Talbot type of werewolf where he wakes up every morning and finds a dead body and he's like, oh God, what did I do? No. Okay, sure, scary shit. But why would you make it worse by getting behind the wheel of a car when you know you're about to change into a werewolf? I don't know. I don't see this. Larry, you're killing me here, Larry. All right. Anyway, that's something that could have been fixed, possibly with some another voicemail thing, or maybe have him try to get out of the car before he goes full wolf. Anyway, he's driving. He turns into the wolf. Of course, he crashes the fucking car because lycanthropes don't have valid driver's licenses. Around the bend, he's like rolls the car over in a ditch. Around the bend comes two very fabulous young men. They pop out to go check on him, and he kills both of them. Well, actually, he only kills one of them. The other one tries to run away and gets run over by a semi-truck. So, fucking shit, man. From there, we get a bunch of footage of Charlie in his wolf form, I guess, running through the woods. Very scary stuff. We also happen upon the local watering hole where we meet a guy named Bob, who's an alcoholic, and another guy, I believe his name was Tom, and he is like Jack Hammond's number one guy. He's not the sheriff, mind you, but he's kind of like Hammond's pseudo-enforcer. Now, Tom is an interesting character because he's played by James LaGrosse. Anybody else? Anybody remember this guy other than me? Phantasm 2. He is the second Michael Baldwin, and in my opinion, the better of the two Michael Baldwins. That's just me, though. Also father to, I believe, James LaGrosse Jr. is the guy's name from Beach House. Anyway, he walks the drunk Bob off, and Bob goes off into the woods to take a leak, and then we see cut to wolf vision, and we have to assume that werewolf Charlie has gotten Bob. Now, a few things about the actual look of the werewolf here. It's much more Jack Nicholson than it is David from American Werewolf in London. He basically just grows a bunch of hair and some gnarly teeth, some sharp fingernails, and then he runs around like a maniac. That's about it. Not the worst werewolf effects I've ever seen, but definitely not the best either, so there's that. All right, so now we have 3 more dead bodies. Now the townspeople are really starting to blame Miguel, because Jack Hammond, who controls the newspaper, is kind of controlling the narrative, and he's printing all these stories about how Miguel and his crew of outsiders are there, and they're murdering the local townspeople. By the way, we should also mention that Jack Hammond brought Miguel and his family and his community in as cheap labor to help build the resort. So that kind of fits with the narrative that we're being force-fed here. All right, excellent. We're also going to find out that Sharon has a new boyfriend, a guy by the name of Stuart, played by the most punchable Joe Swanberg. You know what? I think I'm turning a corner on Joe Swanberg. he still does have a very punchable face, but I think, like, in this movie, he plays like a good dude. You know what I mean? And we get a little snippet here of Swanberg. Well, his name is Stewart in the movie, but with lackluster Sharon, who just looks put upon and wildly, manically depressed the whole time, making dinner and having a couple glasses of wine, and him being a good boyfriend. And how can you be mad at that? You want to hate the guy, right? Because he's the new man in Sharon's life, and we're supposed to be rooting for Charlie, as unlikable as he is. And here comes Joe Swanberg, Stewart, and he's a delightful young man. He's helping her make dinner, and they're talking about, smoking weed and watching a movie that night, and everything's just going to be absolutely cool. And there's that, and it's Swanberg. You lost your girl to Swanberg. It happens. But once Charlie wakes up the next morning, and of course he looks like a bag of ass, he goes into he breaks into one of those construction office trailers where he gets to take a shower, and I guess he used to work there or something because he has a locker, gets a change of clothes, and then he finds a way to get to Earl's house. Now we're going to meet this elusive Earl, and we're going to find out what the fuck is going on here. Earl is an African-American gentleman, and he plays a lot of musical instruments, which is great, and records things, too. I guess maybe he has a podcast of some sort. I guess he's Charlie's best friend, so Charlie rolls up, and he's like, hey, man, I know I said I was going to give you my car, but that thing was a bucket of bolts, so I just took it to the scrapyard. And Earl's like, well, fuck you, too, man. By the way, I got the stuff you wanted, and by stuff, Earl means silver bullets. So this is where we get the elaborate plan that is going to exonerate Miguel and let the world know what's going on here. He would like Earl to shoot him with the silver bullets because he's going to change into the werewolf in front of the camera. And once he does, he will probably attack Earl. He doesn't know because that's where the title of the movie comes from. He blacks out every time he changes. And once that happens, Earl will then shoot Charlie, and it'll all be on tape. And Charlie's also signed a confession to the murders of all the people that Miguel is being pinned on Miguel. So there's that. And he wants to put it on camera that he wants Earl to kill him. And Earl's like, dude, you're full of shit. You're not a fucking werewolf. And Charlie's like, yeah, well, okay. If I don't change, then don't shoot me. So reluctantly, Earl agrees to this. Now, all this time, the local police department are kind of zeroing in on Charlie because they know damn well Miguel did not kill anybody. He actually has an alibi for the other nights in question, other than the fact that he witnessed the hombre lobo kill the hot chick. He's free and clear. So there's that. But this hopefully is going to exonerate Miguel. The police department puts the clues together. The car wreck, the two dead guys, the apparent animal claw wounds on both of them. And they're like, okay, there's maybe a rabid animal, but then they trace the car to Charlie. They know Charlie was living in the hotel, so they go look at that. She says that he checked out. So then they think, okay, Charlie's only friend really is Earl, so let's go check Earl out. Unfortunately, they happen upon the police officers show up at Earl's house just as Charlie is changing. So what they see when they walk in is Charlie strapped to a chair. He's in full werewolf mode. Earl has the gun with the silver bullets, and he's pointing them at Charlie like, holy fucking shit. But then the cops come in, and they shoot Earl because he's pointing a gun at Charlie, and Earl swings the gun around at the wrong time and clips one of the cops in the shoulder. In the meantime, all of that ruckus, Charlie gets free, jumps out of a window, and kills a female cop out on the front lawn. Shit. Then he goes running off into the woods again, and here we are, right back where we started. You can't do anything right, can you, Charlie? No, you cannot. Off he goes, and off the police go. The one cop that he didn't kill is like, holy shit, well, that was Clearly not Miguel, but that wasn't, it kind of looked like a werewolf or a hombre lobo, as they say. But I don't know, man. So in the meantime, back in the town, Jack Hammond is riling up all the yokels to go attack the Mexicans because they think that they're killing off the townspeople. And he's really putting this out there and trying to get Miguel arrested. That's when Tom goes and picks up Miguel. Tom's not a cop or a sheriff, by the way. He's just a foreman. So if I was Miguel, I would tell him to fuck right off. Goes and picks him up, takes him to the jail. And at that point, Charlie goes to Jack Hammond's office and confronts Jack. He's like, hey, man, I gave Hot Barbara Crampton all those legal papers. She's going to fuck you, but good. And Hammond's like, you're being very aggressive, and you're naked from the waist up, and you're covered in blood. So Hammond pulls out a gun on Charlie, forces Charlie into a truck, and takes him to the police station. Once there, there's now like an angry mob outside of the police station, and they're all yelling and screaming for the cops to go get the Mexicans. Hammond rolls out with Charlie at gunpoint. He's like, this guy's crazy. You got to lock him up. He tried to assault me. And everybody's like, whoa, dude, put the gun down. But Hammond won't put the gun down. So he walks Charlie into one of the cells. But at the last minute, Charlie grabs a pair of handcuffs and handcuffs himself to Hammond. Hammond starts pistol whipping him once he's inside the cell. But in like the pistol whipping process, he drops the gun and it goes flying outside the cell. And that's when Charlie changes into the werewolf and just kind of rips Hammond apart. And the whole town sees this because they've all now crowded into the police station. Charlie kicks open the cell and goes hauling ass out into the night, where he is confronted by Sharon, who now has the gun with the silver bullets in it. She's like, oh my God, Charlie. And he's like, ugh. And then she shoots him with a silver bullet. Charlie walks off into the woods and dies, and that's pretty much the end of your movie. There's a lot more to it than that. There's like an animated sequence, but hour and 44 minutes long, this one. Did it need to be that long? I don't think so, man. This is, it wants to be, I get what you're doing here, Larry. You want to make a tragic werewolf movie, and this is not it. And I'm going to tell you why. Number one, I don't know if it's the way the character was written or the way the character was portrayed, but I did not feel sorry for Charlie in the least bit. Really, if he would have just shut the fuck up, okay, you're a werewolf, gotcha. So as he explained it, he blacks out the day before the full moon, or the night before the full moon, the night of the full moon, and the night after. So for those 3 days, he needs to just go away. But he doesn't. Every time he does, he accidentally kills somebody. Very simple, sir. Very simple. Here's what you do. You get yourself some raw meat. You get yourself about, 10, 12 feet of chain. Take yourself out in the woods somewhere. Chain yourself up. Put the keys up your ass. Put the keys up. Put them in your rectum, all right? The werewolf is not going to start fingering his asshole trying to get the lock to fucking undo. Chain yourself up. Restrain yourself. You know what? I'm going to tell you right now. Get track pants, right? What we do in the shadows? Werewolves, not swearwolves. Dude, what? There it is. There it is. I just solved this fucking movie for you, Charlie. No, you want to be a fucking asshole and run around and kill people and act like you're the victim and all this shit? No, go fuck yourself. All right. I did not care for this movie. We know, Larry. We know he's capable of great things. Some of his movies are some of the best I've ever seen. This is not one of them. I feel like this is to Larry Fessenden what 31 was to Rob Zombie. I kind of feel like Larry got funding at the last possible minute, said, ooh, wouldn't it be cool to make a werewolf movie? And then he somebody shit this script out, and I would have been nominally better with a better actor. The guy that played Charlie was not likable in the least bit at all. He struck me as a sanctimonious prick and a little bit on his high horse, and not so much tortured about the werewolf thing, so much as the I really don't like my ex-girlfriend's dad thing. So go fuck yourself, Charlie. All right, I digress. I'm going to tell you to skip Blackout from 2023. If I've piqued your interest, though, by all means, it's streaming on Tubi. But if you didn't know, there's like 14 different movies on Tubi, all called Blackout. So make sure you get the one from 2023. You'll see it. There's a big werewolf face on the cover. I'm going to take myself a little bit of a break, and I will come back with a meat hook for you.
Hey inmates, if you like what you hear, head over to the Padded Room Facebook group and support us through the Patreon link with a small monthly donation. Check out the T-Villain link at paddedroom.podbean.com and grab some t-shirts. Thanks for listening and enjoy the rest of the show.
And I am back, ladies and gentlemen. Scribbity-doo. Oh, I think it's time for a meat hook.
Three on a meat hook.
This week's meat hook, eco horror. How about that shit? Now, I thought about doing a werewolf meat hook, but let's be honest. I think we're all going to pick at least two out of the three same movies, all of us, right? You're going to have American Werewolf in London. You're probably going to have The Howling. Maybe, I don't know, Ginger Snaps pops up a lot. Not a lot of good werewolf horror movies, right? So I thought we'd go ecological horror this time. That can mean a lot of different things. I checked out some other people's lists, and a lot of strange movies that I don't know that I would call ecological or eco horror. But you interpret that however you want. I'm going to give you my top three. My number three is going to be The Bay. Remember that one? Found footage. Had had the hot chick from VHS in it. Isopods. Get up in you one way or another and kind of turn you into a zombie and really wreck your little town celebration there. Chesapeake Bay, which apparently is disgusting these days with different pollutants. And that's kind of what I made my meat hook to be, was horror movies where pollutants or chemicals or less than natural stuff wrecked the environment and we had to deal with the consequences. So I think that's probably one of the best possible examples of that. The Bay. I think it's from, 2012, if I'm not mistaken. Stand by, and I will have an answer for you here. And that chick from VHS, you get to see her naked in VHS. I don't know if you're aware of that, but that is an actual thing. It is from 2012, and the young lady I'm referring to actually has a name, and it is, are you serious? Her name is Kether Donahue. I wonder if she's of any relation to Heather Donahue, in which case I'm no longer interested. I probably am. I don't know. I'm not going to do that big of a deep dive on it, but great show. Found footage, probably one of the better found footage movies I've seen. My number two, a lot of you will argue, is not a horror movie, and you're probably right all the way around. But it is a movie that I have seen way more than I should have, and at a much younger age than I should have. It's a little film called The Class of Nukem High. Oh, that was me attempting to do the Gonzo voice. Remember Gonzo from Class of Nukem High? He's the one that always had the mouth guard in and the two giant nose hoops. And I think might have been a black guy, but I can't. He might have just smeared his face with a bunch of crud. The Cretans, dude. Probably the most colorful, I don't want to say charismatic, but definitely one of the more vibrant 80s gangs of toughs, right? You had Spike. You had the guy with the huge ponytail. You had the weird chick with the Hitler mustache. Miffy, I think her name was Miffy, Gonzo's girlfriend. Dude. Whoa. And for a young man, I saw that movie way earlier than I should have. The amount of boobs in that movie is rather... well, it's a bit of all right. So you have Tromaville toxic waste dipping into the local weed farmer's crop and then him selling the weed to high school kids to resell to other high school kids, and then, weird side effects of smoking contaminated weed. You got Warren with a 9-foot ding-dong running around fighting crime and barfing up Alka-Seltzer. You got Chrissy giving birth via the belly button to a leech monster that gestates underneath the high school, and it turns out is allergic to lasers, I believe, or something like that. I don't know. None of it really makes sense. None of it has to. It's fucking trauma. But that, you know what? That was heyday trauma. That was when they actually tried to make original movies. This is before they just kind of caved into adolescent fucking tits and ass poultrygeist horse shit. But don't take that away from the movie itself. Number 2 for me, Class of Nukem High, which brings me to my number 1. And I think a lot of you will probably agree with me on this. Not only, I think it is an eco-horror movie. You have a lot of different natural elements being affected. You have like an acid rain situation, which of course happens to happen over a graveyard, which naturally reanimates the dead in the graveyard, who obviously go on to devour and zombify the local gang of punk rock teenagers. I'm talking about Return of the Living Dead. 2,4,5-trioxin. Is that what you want? You want to fuck with that shit? If it's in a barrel in your basement, why don't you just call the goddamn number to begin with and get it the hell out of there? It's because you're a dipshit, Bert. That's what your problem is. And your best friend across the street is a war criminal. And you probably know that, but that's not going to get overtly mentioned in the movie. Not that that has anything to do with anything. Chemicals, man. Military industrial uses. Weapons technology. That could have easily been some kind of an Umbrella Corporation situation. I would be willing to bet that movie inspired the Resident Evil games, because that's really what Umbrella Corp does, bioweapons, things like that. Whatever it is, dude, we never really got a good explanation as to what the hell 2,4,5-trioxin is, or what kind of military-grade purpose it might have, what its usage might be. It doesn't matter, dude. It reanimates the dead, and they get up and they kill, and they are perfectly capable of communicating and running very fast, and possibly using. I think they did use weapons at some point. Maybe not in the first one, but you get into Return of the Living Dead 2, they do some really dumb shit. They're like driving cars and stuff. But I don't think you need to go any further into the Return of the Living Dead franchise than the first one. Second one will give you some chuckles, but it's not. It's just not the first one. It's not even close. Not even any boobs in the second one. First one of the selling points was Linnea Quigley and her doing that sarcophagus dance. All right, I'm going off on a tangent. My number 1 is Return of the Living Dead. I would love to know what your top 3 eco-horror movies are, inmates. Let me know by next week if you can. Mental health hotline, of course, area code 775-387-0275. Get us on the email if you don't want to hear your voice on the show. Mail@paddedroompodcast.com is where you do that. I would love to know. Give me some good recommendations for eco-horror movies. Or whatever you consider to be an eco-horror movie. Some of the movies that popped up on the list that I looked at, The Birds, okay, I guess. I mean, we never really got an explanation as to why the birds started attacking people. What else? Day of the Triffids. Yeah, that. Well, I guess you could call it that, but is that going to make your top 3? Not mine. Tell you that right now. All right. While you're contemplating that, I'm going to tell you what movies I got to watch over the last week in a little segment called "What Are You Looking At?"
What are you looking at?
I did myself a little Joe Bob Briggs Blast from the Past double feature over the week. I watched Q, the Winged Serpent from 1982. Is it possible that I don't mean to offend anybody, but I'm just putting it out there. Is it possible that Larry Cohen might be a bit overrated? Do you think that could be a possibility? I mean, you got Q the Winged Serpent. We all saw it, probably a bit younger than we should have. Saw the boobs. There were plenty of boobs in there. Saw Michael Moriarty basically doing a cartoon version of a quote-unquote wheelman. And, we probably dug it when we saw it. Watching it now, you understand what I'm saying? It's not that good, man. And then I was like, okay, let me think about some of Larry Cohen's other work. You got The Stuff. It's a horror movie, quite literally, about pudding. All right, the pudding is the killer. Now, I remembered enjoying it at one point when I watched it, but thinking about it now, these movies are kind of dumb, right? And I'm not saying that they're dumb in the fashion of, oh yeah, but it's kind of dumb, but look at how cheeky and cool it is. No, they're just dumb, dude. I think they're just dumb. You have a giant flying serpent over New York City, biting the heads off of window washers, and hotties doing push-ups on their rooftops. You're going to blame it on Quetzalcoatl, the Mayan serpent god, I think it was, or the Aztec god, or whatever. I don't. Okay. You know what? I'll hang out with you on this. But then when you actually show Q, the Winged Serpent, it's pretty. I mean, it's like a claymation thing. I get it. It's 1982. Special effects weren't that great back then. And you're asking a lot, putting a giant flying snake over New York City. So there's that too. But like the whole storyline with Michael Moriarty's character trying to get this bag of diamonds away from the mob, and these two cops trying to figure out why all these heads are flying off of people in high rises. It's just very silly. But the thing about Larry Cohen is that he loved New York City. 99% of his movies took place there, and they were always very bright and vibrant. You can't really do that, Larry, when you're trying to get a giant flying fucking snake through New York City. You know what I mean? You want to play the giant flying snake card close to the vest, I think. All right, I don't know. I'm just saying it wasn't that good. I watched that, and I also watched The Changeling from 1980. Now, oh God, this motherfucker. This is lauded as one of the best horror films of all time. A lot of people, I think Martin Scorsese said it frightened him to the core. One of Stephen King's all-time favorites. Lot of high praise for The Changeling. Not a bad show. I'm going to say it's not bad. Very dated. And if you watch it today, you're going to feel like you're watching 3 different movies crammed into one. You got a haunted house movie. All right. Oh, cool. I like a haunted house movie. Then you have a second haunted house movie, which we have to wrap up in about 6 minutes and takes place on the other side of town. And that one's going to end with us digging up the floorboards of a young man's bedroom. Okay. Then we have a political movie. I guess like a weird political identity movie, because we get into the backstory of the quote-unquote changeling and what's going on there. And then we have another, I guess like a tragedy movie, getting into George C. Scott's character and the loss of his daughter. I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. Is it the greatest thing I've ever seen? No. Did it frighten me? Not particularly. Is it a good movie? Sure, it's a good movie. Am I going to watch it again anytime soon? No. Am I going to recommend it to anybody? Probably not. How many more questions am I going to ask myself? I don't know. I could go on like this all night. I have very mixed feelings about The Changeling. It's a full 2-hour movie, and it is just every fucking second of it. It's a full 2 hours. Like, you can't get up and go to the bathroom at any point because you're going to miss some part of the plot that isn't. If you miss it, the rest of the shit isn't going to make sense. So I will say it's a good show. I think this one might be a touch. Well, okay. Let me recouch that. I don't think it's overrated. I think it was great for its time. Okay. That thinking about it that way, that kind of makes sense why Stephen King and Martin Scorsese love it so much. But watching it, I would defy them or suggest that they go back and watch it now, nostalgia withstanding, and see if it still affects them the way that it used to. I would suggest that it wouldn't. It's not that scary. Really, it's not. There's nothing bone-chillingly frightening about it. If anything, you feel bad for George C. Scott's character because he just lost his family and now he's got to deal with this fucking horse shit. And then you get into this whole backstory about the family that lived in the house and the kid and the dead and then where he going over there. And I don't want to ruin it for you if you haven't seen it. I would consider this part of horror lineage. Best thing I've ever seen? No. But as a horror fan or somebody that wants to pull that card, you should watch it at least once, just so you can formulate your own opinion on it, I would say. And if you really want to get to know every little subtle nuance of the movie and all the backstories of all the actors and actresses and the director and the production and all that shit, watch the Joe Bob version. It's about 4.5 hours long. He will give you a anal fisting of changeling knowledge that you didn't ask for. I guess it is considered a sexual assault at that point. I don't know, but you will if you can sit through all 4 hours, then you will know every single fucking thing there is to know about the Changeling, George C. Scott, his wife Trisha, whatever, and all the hits. Apparently, it's based on a true story, but the quote unquote true story sounds like horseshit to me too. Anyway, all right, that's what I got to watch this week. Cue the Winged Serpent and the Changeling, both on Joe Bob's Last Drive-In. I guess it's time for some immersion therapy. Yeah.
Immersion therapy.
It's funny that I happened to bring up the Changeling right before I'm about to talk about Beazle. Because, I don't know, did you guys get a chance to check out Beazle from 2024, streaming on Prime, on Dusty's recommendation last week? Woo, daddy! That is a show. Now, the curious part about this to me is that I was just talking about the Changeling and how people in 1982, famous people now, Stephen King and George C. Scott, talked about what a frightening and disturbing movie that was. And now I'm about to tell you about Beazle from 2025, which I found to be very, very, I'm not going to say frightening, I found it to be a very, it's a motherfucking horror movie, for lack of a better, you know what I mean? There's no personal growth or tragedy here. There's no coming of age. Two people aren't going to meet for the first time and be in love by the end of the movie. This is a motherfucking horror movie for your ass. And it's a good one, too, man. Kind of anthology-esque, but still with a wraparound. If you haven't seen it, inmates, the best way that I can think of to describe it would be the autopsy of Jane Doe, if Jane Doe got up and walked around and did some nasty shit, and if they never dug her up. Think about that. They keep her at the bottom of the house there, and 3 different, I guess, generations of one family get fucked with by this thing. If you've seen the autopsy of Jane Doe, you know where I'm going with it. But some of the sequences in this one, it's almost anthology-esque, because you start off with the husband, and then as we know how that ends, and then we pick it up with the wife in modern day, or like 2006, I think it was, and the poor in-home caretaker for the wife or healthcare provider, and she's got to deal with the shit now because she's in the house. And then the new people, oh, dude, it is a good show. I'm going to tell you to check out Beazle at your earliest convenience. I found it to be very cool. Some of the sequences were very, very suspenseful, and this is a horror film. This is what other horror films should aspire to be. Not smacking you in the face with, their thoughts on white privilege or whatever the fuck they're trying to tell you is wrong with you today. But just, hey, here's a fucking scary thing, and you come check it out. We're going to try to scare you and freak you out with this scary thing, and we'll leave our political posturing out of it for right now. Just get disturbed by this. That's what I like. That's what I'm talking about. Not a bunch of cheeky humor. I do like it when nudity is involved. But this is a real deal horror movie right here, bros. I'd highly recommend Beazle. Your immersion therapy for this week, since Buddy and Dusty are not here, is going to be Please Don't Feed the Children. Directed by Destry Allen Spielberg. Daughter, I believe, of Steven Spielberg. Let's see how she does. It stars Michelle Dockery and Giancarlo Esposito. This motherfucker is streaming on Tubi as we speak. Check that shit out, inmates. I will do the same, and we can compare notes next week. But now is the time for Who's Your Daddy?
Who is Daddy?
First, my clues from last week. Well, I am an adult film actress, and I've just come off of a very traumatic shoot in rural Texas, I believe, and let's just say I was the only one to come off of that shoot. So that's pretty gnarly stuff. I made it to LA just in time for the VHS boom, which unfortunately is also just in time for the Night Stalker killings. And I think the son of a bitch might be trying to kill me and my other stripper friends and porn star friends as well. So scary shit all the way around. I am, of course, Maxine, ladies and gentlemen. That's a pretty good show. I still think, as far as that trilogy goes, you're not going to do any better than X. And really, those three movies are just so vastly different. You've got the congruent storyline and the timeline, which is great, but Pearl is like this weird psychological thing with this horny chick that thinks that she deserves to be a star. Then you get into X, which is just a porn shoot gone wrong, tried to pick the absolute worst filming location. And then you get to Maxine, which is, let's follow that porno shoot right into Night Stalker Los Angeles. So really, three vastly different movies all the way around. Who might I be this week, you ask? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am a very attractive high school student. I am a bit of a party girl, is what I am. And I've got my best friend. She's a little bit on the nerdy side. She's not as hot as me, but she has a boyfriend, and they fool around. That's great. I got tickets to a concert tonight, and we are going to go. I know the bouncer. He's going to let us in at this shady little bar where this band is playing. The lead singer was eyeing me up, so I'm going to go check him out after the show and see what's going on with him. Oh, you don't think he has any nefarious plans, do you? You don't think he might be looking to, sacrifice me to an elder god or some shit to make some pact with a demon to get rich and famous? I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just going to go because I'm young and hot and not all that smart. Who might I be? Tune in next week, and I'll drop some knowledge on you, inmates. In the meantime, I think that's about going to do it for me. Thank you guys very much for joining me this week and bearing with me through the solo adventures of Dr. Darian here. Like, comment, subscribe wherever you found this show. That helps our visibility quite a bit. We do have a Patreon campaign running if you give a shit. Just go to paddedroompodcast.com. You'll find all that info and all the links you need right there. Join us next week for A Most Beautiful Island, continuing Larry Fessenden month here in the Padded Room. In the meantime, for Dusty in absentia, Buddy in absentia, goddamn rock bands that are trying to make deals with the devil, Red Lobster, and all the joy that comes from going to Red Lobster and those little cheesy biscuit things that they make so good. Minnie Mouse and her bullshit, and the entire X franchise, Pearl, X, and Maxine. I felt like I spent more time talking about those movies than anything else tonight. And the Padded Room Podcast. I'm afraid visiting hours are over.